kuna joto mingi kutanyesha. That is not a precise way of practicing agriculture, and we're encouraging our farmers to exercise precision agriculture, and this technology guarantees you that. Now, the technology we will be focusing on the show today is called tissue culture, which is a modern method of seed propagation. We get to learn in detail about that from KALRO. Take a look. Now, if we were to name one sector that is witnessing a lot of technology advancement, then that sector has to be the agricultural sector. And that's why now, right here at Kenya's Gold, every single Thursday, we're focusing on highlighting to you the technology that is being adopted in the sector. Now, today I want us to talk about propagation of seeds. Now, over the years, the most common way of propagating vegetative crops, like the cassavas you're seeing behind me, or even bananas, it has been through the use of cuttings. Mkulima anaenda anakata a part of these crops and then you plant them in your farm. However, today we want to introduce you to a modern way of propagating vegetative crops, and this is tissue culture. This process happens in the lab by mimicking a natural environment for the crops and also supplying them with the correct nutrients and hormones at different stages for them to grow as they should. So how does this process happen? How long does it take? What is the technology involved? And if you was to compare tissue culture and cuttings, what are the benefits of tissue culture? All those answers will be coming through to you on our feature starting right now. So this is a restricted area, as you can see from the door, but of course we have to get you in so that you see what's happening in this lab. Hi, Dr. Martin.
Hi, Gina.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good to see you today.
Yes, welcome.
I can see you in your gear.
But you need to remove your shoes.
Okay. I can do that here.
Yes.
All right.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Please take the...
Any pair here.
Any pair here.
All right.
It's good for you.
Thank you so much.
Now that you are good to go.
We already want to know, why did I have to wear Crocs and leave my shoes out there?
Yes, because we want to ensure what we call sterility in the lab. That means whatever you have been carrying out there should not be able to come here.
Right.
Because the environment has to be very clean and sterile. That means no contamination.
At this point, I'd like for you to introduce yourself to our viewers back at home and also share expansively the role you play right here at KALRO.
Thank you. But before we proceed, probably you need to put the attire. Now we are inside the lab.
Okay.
You need also to be protective.
Thank you.
So this is the normal, what we call the lab coat.
Ah, now I feel like such a scientist.
Yes.
You know?
It helps you not to get anything from the lab.
Okay.
And also you not to bring in anything. So that means that's how we operate from here.
Right.
So my name is Dr. Martin. Tissue culture,
right,
which is one of the techniques that helps us avail to farmers some good material that have very good attributes. One of them being very clean planting material, because for the propagative material, remember, farmers go out there and get cuttings, be it cassava, be it banana, and they transport some of those cuttings to their farm, forgetting also they can be able to carry diseases and therefore transfer some of those diseases to their farms. But with this technology, we are able to provide farmers with clean planting material that is disease-free, and therefore the risk of starting from a diseased plant is eliminated. Secondly, we are able to give a good number of materials to the farmers. Remember, when we are doing the propagation, the cuttings, it has a limit let's say you want to plant 100 acres or 200, you can imagine the number of cuttings you will need. So this technology helps you generate small plantlets, which you can be able to move with speed and have enough planting material.
Right.
Also, there is thirdly maturity of the crops. Because they have already been prepared in a way that they have already rooted and also hardened, they grow faster. And therefore, we do what we call shortening of the maturity period.
Right.
So with a banana that was to take 11 or 12 months, it means when you plant, you can be able to take 8 or so.
All right.
And you'll have your crop maturing at faster rate.
Right. So those are benefits of going the tissue culture direction.
Yes.
You know, there's someone who's hearing this word for the very first time, as much as there are tons of why it's very important to go that direction. And I'd like for you to give us a bit of a history. Tissue culture has been in existence for how long, and also for how many years it has been practiced here in Kenya?
In terms of the technology, actually started in the 1950s and 60s. But not in a commercial aspect, in a commercial way. But in the 80s is where we saw most countries adopting it, especially the USA, India, Thailand. They really took up the technology. And we have seen the benefit over the years. So in Kenya, toward the late 80s, is when actually we started using the technology, especially on the bananas.
Right.
I'm sure in Kenya, wherever you go, sometimes you hear this is a TC or tissue culture banana. But after that, we have been able to improve and develop other protocols. And but that does not end. We have now been able to develop protocols for various crops. That includes, like now we have cassava, we have pineapple, we are working on vanilla, which is our high-value crop.
Yes.
Because the challenges of getting the planting material is, like I explained earlier, the cuttings cannot be enough, deal with the farmer's needs. And therefore, this technology, we believe, will be able to sort out most of the problems by generating enough planting material.
Right.
So the technology is being adapted, but we are praying that more farmers come on board. As KALRO, we have the facilities that we are being able to produce this material. And also we have what we call KALRO-Seed. KALRO-Seed is one of our main department that is responsible for giving farmers the planting materials. And therefore, as an institution, we are prepared ourselves to be able to serve the country in a very good way.
Right. Talk to us about the different crops that can be propagated through tissue culture, and are there other crops which the technology yet bado hatujafikia kiwango ya kuipropagate through tissue culture?
Yes, like I said earlier, there are crops that we are yet to get protocols for them, because getting a protocol for tissue culture sometimes takes time. We have, like recently, although it's not a crop that is like for farming, like we have bamboo, which we have been developing the protocol, and it has taken us quite a long time because it's a struggle. But we are foreseeing where we can be able to help, especially on this area of climate change.
Right.
Where we can be able to, those who want the bamboo, we can be able to give them. So we have several other crops, like cassava, I say like sweet potato, the vines. So we can be able to also give you, I think I mentioned pineapple.
Right, yeah.
Pineapple. Now we are working on vanilla, and also we have introduced plantain. Plantain is where now also we are on the final stages actually of looking at just the commercial aspect, where now to be able to multiply. We have optimized the protocol. We are at the point of just being able to multiply and provide our farmers with enough plantain.
Right. Yeah. I'm very curious to understand who is that protocol? What does it entail? Where is the approval coming for? Just give us a little bit of insight on that.
Oh, thank you. The protocol I mean here is the process it takes to produce that crop. Because we call it a tissue culture, because you are taking a part of the tissue. Yeah. Not the whole plant. Because the plant itself is composed of tissues. Just like us, we can associate, you know, the skin is a tissue, The heart has tissues. The tissues are the ones that form the organ. Yeah. But here you are just picking a section of that tissue, and therefore take it through what we call a systematic way, where you are starting with the right nutrients to be able to mature them. Because in this technology, what you are more targeting is more or less mimicking what happens in the natural. When you have the cuttings, when you plant, there is a way it takes time to be able to root and to start growing. So what we are doing we are speeding that by providing the nutrients at the lab level.
Right.
And that means you can be able to put the right nutrients, the right hormones. That means the crop roots, and then we have a system of what we call hardening, and then from there we can be able to take to the farm. So for you to generate the levels of nutrients to use, that is also what we call optimization now of the protocol, because different crops require different levels of the nutrients different hormones.
Yes.
So they are different. Each crop is different.
It sounds like a very technical, very serious, very hard process as well. Is that the case?
No, it's not the case. I think we have so many young people in the country that have been trained. Tissue culture is being taught in universities.
Oh.
Most of the universities do have a department on biotechnology. That is one of the techniques that those who come out of the university normally have already been equipped.
Great.
So when they come here, we just orient them in a way that they focus probably on a specific crop.
Right.
But in terms of the technique, they have already been taught. So
Right.
in the country, we have the capacity to be able to do that.
Right. Do we have cases where a system we were trying to propagate for a particular plant and then it backfires?
Yeah, they backfire most of the time.
It's the honesty for me. They backfire most of the time.
Yes,
Why?
But that's why it takes time to have a protocol that works.
Right.
I can tell you the team that has been working on vanilla has been doing it for quite a long time. Even the plantain itself, it has taken us quite some time to have the optimal protocol. That means the procedure is now right to be used. So in science, actually we fail more than we succeed.
Right.
It's just that sometimes you only see the end product, but the failures are not accounted for.
Right.
But failing is normal for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the backfiring sessions, but
Yes.
you come back and you keep at it.
Yes, yes.
All right.
You optimize today, you put 1 millimeter, I mean 1 ml, it doesn't work. Tomorrow you put either more or less until things work.
Right. And this process happens entirely in a lab,
Yes.
like the place we are in right now.
Like the place we are in is a place that is well equipped in terms of equipment.
Right.
It has the conditions that are right.
Talk to me about those conditions. Which ones do I need to meet in this lab so that I make sure that this process of tissue culture is seamless all through?
Yes. First of all, there is what we call the one of maintaining the cleanliness. That means like the procedure we used for using the right attire, whatever is outside, we don't contaminate. Then we have an air con. That means the air that is in is being regulated by an equipment. That means there is no air. When you look at this facility, there is no air that is just coming in, because if air carries a lot of contaminants. So this environment is quite sterile. The environment is being cleaned. And then we have the equipment, like you can see there. We have what we call the biosafety cabinets. The biosafety cabinets have been designed in a way that the working area can be made sterile. That means there is an airflow that bring in clean air throughout your time of you are dealing with whatever you are multiplying. And the other things are just the normal ways of maintaining the sterility of the environment by cleaning, using ethanol so that you sterilize the environment, and also maintaining cleanness of ourselves, dressing properly, and sometimes using like during the COVID.
Oh, the mask.
Remember the mask?
Yes.
So when you're doing the propagation, you also have to to wear the mask.
All right.
So in that case, you are not contaminating the material you're dealing with.
Great.
Yeah, so that's the level of sterility that
you need to
required.
maintain. Dr. Allow me to take you back. When you were starting this conversation, you were very clear on mentioning some of the benefits that a farmer will get if they go the tissue culture way, and allow us to list them again right now for anyone who's joining the show right now.
Yes.
Shorter maturity time. Disease-free.
Disease-free. And enough planting material.
Enough planting
because
material.
That is what we lack. A farmer will want to plant 10,000 acres. How you can't do using cuttings.
Utakata hadi kwa mwingine. Kwa shamba ya wenyewe. Right.
So this technique helps you generate enough planting material and in a more cost-effective way.
Right. Yeah. So if I come to you, I want the seedlings for my farm.
Yes.
Alafu nimekuja nimepata the tissue culture, the correct one, they are disease-free, they are A1. Lakini pale kwa shamba yangu, I have not done the correct things in terms of making sure my soil is at great health. Will I still get the optimum results from the tissue culture as much as I've gone premium on them?
Yes. So what I can say is, if you have not tested the soil, what you'll be doing is chancing, because you are not very sure if the crop that you want to introduce in the soil, actually the soil has all the nutrients that is needed. So the advice we give to farmers is do farm preparation first. Do soil testing. That helps you know that the crop that you want to plant is also aligned. It has the nutrient that is needed. And also, like when you come to Calro, we can be able to test the soil for you and also advise you, even the crop that can be able to do well under that condition of the soil. And if there is need to add anything like fertilizer, we can also advise, yes, the soil lacks some nutrients, but you can add the fertilizer. The other thing is also knowing the crop so that you do the right agronomic practices. Because even if you got a disease-free, that means you also need to do other activities that prevent the disease from coming in. That means you need to be able to monitor your crop. We always tell the farmers, please visit your farm so that you can be able to see if there is need to intervene in case there is a crop, there is need for you to intervene if there is a pest, there is a disease, so that you don't assume since you planted a clean material, nothing can happen. The environment is quite diverse, and therefore you need to take precautionary measures also. And also learn the crop in terms of agronomy, in terms of what other needs the crop need to be taken care of. Because sometimes also we plant the wrong, a crop in the wrong environment, because you have seen productivity in a certain county, and you go and get your crop and you introduce to your farm, forgetting your farm might be in a different, what we call ecological zone.
Factors,
that means the humidity, the temperature, so altitude. So you'll go and plant your vanilla, but it will never flower.
It'll backfire. Tena nianze kusema nilipatiwa affect tissue culture. Kumbe ni mimi sikuangalia.
You need to get somebody to advise you that crop that you are taking to the farm is actually the right one for that ecology, that ecosystem.
Great. So once I make my order, my seedlings are ready. Na niko hapa Nairobi, I'm picking them from here. I want to take them to as far as, let's say, Western or Turkana. How should I transport them? How do they need to be packed so that by the time nafika mahali naenda, they're still in the correct, shape to be planted in the farm? And after I pick them, how soon should I plant my seedlings that have been propagated through tissue culture?
The material, the good thing, it comes with a package where we don't remove the nutrients. And therefore, you have a grace period, even if it's a week or so. So which means if you get it right in terms of packaging, of which by the time we are giving you, we'll have packed properly with proper aeration and proper nutrients already existing, so that even if the product arrives, you have 3-4 days even before you plant, because we understand the farmer also requires time to prepare the farm.
Great. Wakulima wanasema ndio tumesikia hii tissue culture, tumesikia iko na a lot of benefits, but it is expensive. We cannot afford it. That is one of the complaints actually that we have had from different farmers. That's why they will easily go for the cuttings. Are we going to reach a place where we can mitigate the cost issue?
Yes, at the moment I can say relative, because what you are looking at the value, because what is sold in the market is the value. So relative to what we are giving, actually is not expensive, because you compare the benefits. You are planting, you are getting at a faster rate in terms of maturity. You will get the right material in terms of even uniformity. Remember, as a farm, sometimes you have requirement for the market, and therefore you don't want to chance going out there and just getting cuttings from everywhere. That means your produce will not be having the level of uniformity for the market. So this technology helps you in achieving that, and also the aspect of disease-free, and that's where the trick is, because you are protecting yourself from the farm. So when you look at the materials that we are giving, actually it's not expensive, because there is value that comes with it.
Right.
The other aspect of getting materials from anywhere, it looks cheap, but you will have more losses as compared to if you use the tissue culture.
A great introduction to tissue culture, which is a lab way of propagating crops, and this system mimics the natural environment of crops. Now, we have learned so far that there are a lot of benefits, of course, of tissue culture, one being a shorter maturity time, because the plants get to you when they're already rooted. Also, you get clean planting materials, disease-free. And from the very many visits that we have done to farmers across the country, one of the biggest complaints they have is pests and diseases. And of course, tissue culture helps deal with this problem, because you're guaranteed to get clean planting material. And of course, the last one being enough planting materials. For instance, you want to grow bananas on very many acres of land. Cuttings is not sustainable. Therefore, tissue culture makes it possible for farmers, especially commercial farmers, to be able to have enough planting materials regardless of the sizes of land. Now, we are not yet done with that conversation. We are taking a break right now, but when we come back, we are going to get into the practical aspects of tissue culture. We will learn in depth about how one healthy, robust extract has the possibility and the potential of giving you about 2,000 seedlings. It sounds